I think Bear Bachmeier is going to jump from being a really good freshman to being a legit Heisman finalist.
Hello and welcome back to Hike the Y, a BYU sports podcast. And it has been a little while since we have recorded, guys. It's been almost 2.5 weeks. So if you're wondering where's our favorite BYU sports podcast, we are back.
We're so
And today,
back.
I'm excited. We're gonna have a lot of fun right in between sort of basketball, football, World Cups going on, lots of sports happening, and we're gonna try to talk about a lot of it. But first. LeBron James is looking to sign with a new team this offseason, first time in 8 years. So pretty much first time that I remember. I don't really even remember him signing with the Lakers. I think that LeBron James is going to sign with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Ooh.
They have the most stacked team right now. They got Joel Embiid, if he can stay healthy, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, LeBron James. You put that starting five on the floor. I don't think there's a better starting five in the last 10, 15 years than that right there. You've got all those players can score 30 plus points in a game. And then if you just combine that together, plus just the defense that they can create and the East not being as stacked as the West, I think LeBron wants to win a chip before he retires. I think he's going to 76ers.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know if that'd be the best roster in the last 10, 15 years. That's a very bold
Maybe
take
best starting
there.
five. Maybe not the best roster, but that's a stacked starting
I'd
five.
take
Depending
those
on
prime Warriors teams though, like Steph Curry when they had KD and they went 2 in 3 years, won 2 chips in 3 years and lost the third by
I
that
think
much.
Jaylen Brown is just so good though.
Yeah,
I
he's
think he's
good.
like
Steph Curry's the
he's
purest
right
shooter in the
there.
world though.
Who
I
knows?
don't
We'll
know,
have to
man.
see.
Interesting. I think that LeBron is going to go to the Heat. I think Giannis can get him, and he will want to team up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he'll want to go play, take his talents back to South Beach, bro. Run it back a second time with the Heat.
Yeah, I like both of those takes. In fact, I've had both of those takes kind of like on my mind recently, like the Heat, maybe going back to Cleveland. But I also do kind of like the 76ers where Brandon's coming from. I don't think like if I had to choose where LeBron goes, I would want him to go to somewhere new, because he has been with the Heat and he has won a chip with the Heat. The one thing I don't like about the Heat, like they have Giannis Antetokounmpo and they do have the second all-time
Big three.
scorer in one game. Um, um,
Bam.
Bam Adebayo, which that would be fun to see them, but I just don't think that they have the kind of depth that LeBron wants. I think the biggest thing, I don't think LeBron's chasing money. That's not what's going on here. I think LeBron's chasing that one last chip to show that he's better than Michael Jordan. And so a place where he could go win a chip, I could see going to Cleveland. I could see him going to I've heard Golden State might be off the table, but I would have liked to see him go to Golden State. Um, and also, but like I'd have to team up with Brandon here and say he's going to the 76ers. I was kind of hoping that he would announce on July 4th that he was going to sign with the 76ers.
That'd be
I saw a
pretty
bunch
cool.
of reels about that, but unfortunately that has not happened. But I'm kind of stressing, guys. He needs to make a decision ASAP because every time I like do anything, I'm always worried that I'm gonna miss the announcement. And I'm
Oh,
gonna like because I'm going camping in a couple of weeks. I feel like I'm gonna come back from camping and it's like LeBron James is signed with the Utah Jazz and I'll like have completely missed it. So
Utah Jazz.
he just needs to like make a decision like ASAP so I can rest easy.
Yeah, he's really got to take into account some of our feelings here in
Dude,
his
you gotta let him
decision.
know. Send him a text. I'm sure he'll be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
LeBron, make this decision." And like, I'm sure within the hour, we'll know he's going to the Sixers or whatever.
Yeah, slide into his DMs or something.
Oh,
He's a
Hike the
good
White
guy.
podcast. Hike
He's
the
like,
White podcast
LeBron,
is reaching out.
LeBron, come on, Hack the White podcast to announce where you're going.
Yeah, announce where
Just
you're going
saying.
on Hike the White podcast.
All right. Well, we also have a super fun agenda for today. We're going to talk about our top five BYU players in the NFL, which is going to be fun.
Ooh.
More summer league action. Darren Peterson for the Jazz has been popping off. AJ DeBonson making his debut tomorrow. Lots of stuff with that. And then we'll also do some BYU football hot takes for this upcoming season. But first, Nate is going to kick us off with a little game, which I'm excited. I guess I don't even know what it is, but I'm excited for it.
Guys, this is going to be a really fun game. You're gonna have to, we're gonna be doing a little bit of acting here. So one thing
Mm,
that
Oh man.
I don't know if you
that's
know
not
about,
good.
I don't know if you guys know, but like BYU athletes, they're gonna be on campus, like all the time. So I've seen Bear Bachmeier on campus. I've seen a couple of BYU basketball players on campus, and I've got a quick story. Before who I knew who AJ DeBonta was, I saw him sitting on campus, and it was on Halloween. I was wearing this cowboy hat and a
Was
BYU
it on his
football.
official visit?
No, he was just on campus
He was already a
before
student, yeah.
he was already a student. It was before the basketball season. He was wearing a jersey, or I was wearing a jersey, and then this hat because it was on Halloween, and I was dressed up as the Cougar cowboy. Okay, and I saw AJ DeBonta, and I didn't really know how cool he was. Okay,
No, he's a
um,
tall dude.
and he was just sitting on the bench like typing something. I don't even remember, but he's sitting on the bench and he's just in like normal like athletic clothes. And I go, "Oh, what are you supposed to be? Are you a basketball player?" And his response, he just goes like this, "You stupid or something?" And I got so embarrassed and just walked away. I was so embarrassed. So the game is, here's the game. We're gonna pretend that you're showing up to your first class of next semester, and in comes Bear Bachmeier and sits down right next to you. You got to come up with a nonchalant way that
Oh,
you don't know who Bear Bachmeier is. You're gonna pretend like you don't know, so you can be nonchalant. Because when I was talking to AJ, I was not nonchalant. I was too fanboying. Um, yeah, that was embarrassing. So pretend you're walking in and Bear Bachmeier sits down next to you, and you just gotta like say something nonchalant to him.
you gotta pretend like you don't know who he is?
Yeah, gotta pretend like you don't know who he
Oh,
is.
dang.
All right, all right.
Who wants to go first? I feel like Connor's gonna be cracked at this. I kind of want to
I don't know,
nominate
man.
Connor to go
Don't
first.
hype me up too
Connor's
much.
gonna be
Don't
good
hype me
too.
up. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're sitting down. It's like we got comms 101, right? Because that's the class they take, right? And you hit the, hey man, how's it going? What's your name?
That's it.
I would hit that. I joked about hitting that. Like if I saw an athlete in a class, would be like, hey, what's your name? Like, where you from? What are you doing here at BYU? What drove you? I would ask him that. I'd be like, what drew you here to come to BYU?
What drew you here to come to BYU?
He'd be like, scholarship. I don't.
Oh,
Oh, that's great. Do you play a sport or something? A musical instrument?
yeah, maybe you just hit him with, did you play any sports in high school? Just be like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you should come play spike ball sometime. Let's get it
That'd be
going.
lit.
Something like that. Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
Wait,
I don't
Brendan,
feel like I could pretend not to know him though.
really?
I would be like, yeah, I don't know. Like, would you just pretend not to know him on purpose?
Oh yeah, I would be nonchalant as because here's what I'd do. I'd sit down and be like, "Oh, like, what brings you to geology today?" And he'd be like, it's like my class." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. What's your name?" And he'd be like, "My name's Bear Bachmeier." I'd be like, "Bear? That's a weird name.
Funny name. Who named their kid Bear?
Why are you named after an animal? That's kind of weird. Where are you from, Bear?" And just like something like that. I'll be like, cool. You play any sports? I feel like you're a tennis guy. You play tennis? He'd be like, no, I play football." I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool.
I feel like
I,
you
I
probably
bet
just think you're a weirdo.
I bet you can't make it on the team." Be like, no, I'm the quarterback for BYU." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. Well, big geology
I feel
started."
like I feel like it'd work a lot better with a player that's less recognized. Like for
Ooh,
example, like we had in our comms 101 class last year, we had Tommy Prasis. And I
Yeah.
think we had another BYU football like defensive lineman that I did not know who he was, but I knew Tommy Prastis was in the class, and he sat in the back. And he came in late. Not to hate on Tommy Prastis at all, but
Do not, do
like,
not.
like that would have been something that we could try with him, because he's not like insanely big or anything like that. Like he looks like he could be a track runner, something like that.
Well,
So
but like Brandon, I feel like on the opposite end, if it's someone who's like not famous, you just sit down next to him and you just absolutely fanboy over him. Like you just gotta be like, "Yo,
You like
Trayvon
pretend.
Wilson, you're crazy. Oh my goodness. You play on the football team, right? Oh my gosh, you're my favorite player." And you just gotta like hype him up like crazy.
That'd be
where did
funny.
Trayvon Wilson come from?
I don't know. I just thought of
That's
like
the name he pulled. That was when he pulled out the hat, bro.
is Trayvon Wilson a
Hey,
real person? I don't
probably.
know. Trayvon
Maybe.
Wilson.
Interesting.
Anyways,
Now, dude, I
that
think
was
it'd be funny. I think if you acted like all nonchalant with somebody super famous, though, I feel like they would respond well. Like they'd remember you. Like we'd be talking to our
oh
I don't
teammates like
know.
before practice. You'd come up in a conversation in the locker room before practice or before a game. Like you'd be like, "Man, I was sitting in my class and this guy like next to me had no idea who I was." Like
yeah.
they would think it was funny. I bet.
Well, and I bet there's so many people who do not know who Bear Bachmeier is. Like just don't. And that's totally fine. But like I think it'd be so funny to just meet someone like that crazy, like famous, quote unquote, on the BYU campus, and then just be like super nonchalant, like, "Oh, what's your name? Bear? That's a weird name. Bear."
Dang. I feel like you, Nate, would actually do something like that. I would probably just be like, "Hey, what's up, dog?" And like just not say much to him the rest of the time, just because I wouldn't want to like annoy him or anything. But yeah, it'd be fun. Maybe this next year. Who knows?
That'd be
Yeah.
All
fun,
right.
bro.
Are you guys ready to get into it for today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. For our top five BYU players in the NFL, I'm thinking we go down from five. Each of us just says our fifth best, and then we can go from there. What do you guys like think what do you guys think of that?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
All
Give me a
right, I
second
will
to
go
find out
first.
number five. Go first.
My number five best player from BYU in the NFL today is Ryan Rico, punter for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
He averaged over 50 yards a punt last year, which is insane. And I think he was that was good for third best in the NFL. And so I would put him higher. He's one of the best punters in the NFL at this point, I think. But the punter position it's just not as important as other positions. It is very important. Like if you have an insane punter that can always get you down inside the 10 every time, that's super valuable. But compared to other positions, I think it's just not as. So Ryan Rico slots into my number five spot for the Bengals. Who wants to go next?
I can. This one
Straight
might be
up,
a
bro.
little controversial. You guys might get mad at me for this one. Um, I think coming in at number five for me would be Kyle Van Noy.
Dude, I literally just wrote down Kyle Van Noy for number
Really?
five. I do
I
agree.
the reason why I like Kyle Van Noy is because he's not necessarily at his prime. He's kind of getting a little older now. I don't know if you guys saw that clip last season where he got an interception and then ended up handing it off, made
Yeah,
interception.
yeah.
And it was the smart play.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But in the post conference afterwards, he just said that he's getting too old and too tired for the game. So he's like, "Yeah, I had to hand the ball off to one of those young guns." But Kyle Van Noy, I'm thinking at his prime, phenomenal playing for the Patriots. I remember watching the Super Bowl and seeing him jump over the front line and just getting one of the craziest sacks, um, basically sealing the win for the Patriots, knocking forget who they're playing, but they knocked him out of field goal range. I think it was the I can't blaspheme on this podcast again, but Kyle Van Noy, just he slides into my number five. But I mean, no hate on Kyle Van Noy, but he comes at number five.
No, I agree. I definitely put him there because of like the legacy and like he's a great leader for those guys and like he knows he's not the best or the fastest anymore, but he still is up there like he had like a double digit sack season not too long ago when he was like over 30 Like he's proven he can make an impact long term in the league, and he loves where he's at. He loves what he's been doing.
Yeah, I had Kyle Van Noy as one of my honorable mentions. I just think he's a little too old. His prime was great. I remember watching his BYU highlights, and just some of the things he's able to do were super impressive. But I think right now, I don't know if he's a top five BYU player anymore. All right, I better not mess up this name. Number four, I have Kingsley Suamatia. I think that's right. Any- Anyway, he's an offensive guard for the Chiefs now. Was a tackle, moved to a guard with Andy Reid, and that's one of the reasons I love him so much. He's with a coach and Andy Reid, and a place with the Chiefs that has a winning culture, that he can learn and develop. And he played well as a guard last year, and I think he's just going to keep taking steps to improve. And so I have him at number four.
I like it. My number four, it's a little bit of a future's like
Is this a
prediction,
rookie?
but give me Jack Kelly. I think he will be just good. I think he's gonna just pair really nicely with the Giants defensive scheme, and he's gonna be able to be up there with one of the draft steals, kind of like Puka Nacua, maybe not as big of a deal, but still like a pretty dang good player who people will realize, oh dang, he went to BYU.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another one of those, like for me, my number four, I kind of want to give it to Tyler Algier. He's someone who I watched kind of when I was kind of young in my fanship for BYU. And so I love Tyler Algier, and then him going straight to the NFL was awesome. But he plays with Atlanta right now, I think, Atlanta Falcons. And
He,
the cool
he
the
got
cool
traded.
thing.
He signed with the Cardinals in free
Oh,
agency.
that's right. He's in the Cardinals now. Yep, you're right. Well, it's cool with Tyler Algier. He's appeared in 67 games, and he has 670 carries, and he has about 3,000 yards, which is about like what, like 5 yards per carry. He's got 18 touchdowns, and he's just one of those players who you just see him get the ball, and he'll get you 5 quick yards. He's also a great steal in
Zero fumbles
fantasy
too.
as long as you as long as he plays in games. He's a wonderful player, and then you look at him and you go, you know what, that guy, he played at BYU. Way to represent in the NFL. So that's my number four, Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I love Tyler Algier. He's probably my favorite BYU player that I was actually able to watch growing up, just from the past 7 to 8 years. I just love watching him play, and he slots in at my number three position. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, seeing that he hasn't developed into a star role in the NFL, really. But he has been stuck behind Bijan Robinson for his entire career, which is rough, seeing as Bijan is probably the best running back in the NFL. And then I was really excited when he was signed to the Cardinals this year. I was like, finally, Taylor Algier is going to get a chance. But now Jeremiah Love is also a Cardinal. So I still think he's going to be kind of in that role, but maybe it could help for his longevity. Maybe he doesn't get as much pounding on his body and stuff like that, whereas he can stay fit longer in his career, and hopefully he can continue to play well in the NFL.
I feel like I'm just like validating your guys' hot takes because I did have also Tyler as number three. I think if he was RB1 with getting like starting first string running back reps, he could be a top two. Like he's that good. But he just, he's been stuck behind great running backs. But I think it definitely helps his longevity, but it also helps. He's a great third down back, right? When you've got a guy
Oh
like
yeah.
Bijan Robinson or Jeremiah Love on the field, for first and second down, he comes in at third and four. You know you're going to get a first down, and he doesn't fumble the ball, and you're trying to milk the clock. Like he is a great utility back. He's kind of like football's equivalent of a glue guy. Uh, on a running game. Like you can't ask for anything more. And so I think he's my number three. I'm gonna be real.
Perfect. Yeah,
Awesome.
I think for my number three, I'm going to stick with another running back, and I'm going to go with Jamal Williams, the anime king himself.
Jamal
Um,
Williams even in the NFL anymore?
He's not right now, but that's okay.
he's
We'll
not
give it
he's
to
not in the
you.
NFL right now.
I,
He
not right
was
now.
cut by somebody before this last season.
You know what
That's
though?
why he
I'm
was
gonna
at
give it
he
to
was
you.
at like every BYU football game last season because he didn't have an NFL game on Sunday.
I'm gonna give it to you though. Let's hear some love
We'll
for
give it,
Jamal.
yeah.
Are you serious? I gotta because Jamal Williams, he's played more games than Tyler Algier, and he was drafted 134th overall. But I still feel like he was a steal in that draft. And he's had what 17 100 plus 100-yard games, 100-plus-yard games, and he has had 796 carries for 4,000 yards. So he's averaging about 4 yards a carry. He's just one of those players who I love to see have the ball. When he was on the Saints, he's just like for me, just like Tyler Algier. I was like, that guy, he played at BYU, and he got a lot of love from the fans. A lot of fans loved just like what he said in interviews and just during games. Like he was just a lovable character in the NFL, and a lot of fans loved him. And so for that reason, I put him at my number three. But maybe he could be a number four. But it's kind of hard for me to place Tyler Algier and Jamal Williams because I just thought Jamal Williams had a better career. But that's just my opinion. So I
Yeah,
guess
and as a Saints fan, it's been fun to see like the Saints is kind of a magnet for BYU players. I mean, you got Jamal
True.
Williams, Taysom Hill has been there for 8, 9 years now. Zach Wilson just signed with the Saints, which I'm hoping that he can kind of start figuring
And
things out.
actually do so, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Speaking of Taysom Hill, he's not my number two, but I did want to give him a shout out. Just as a Swiss Army knife kind of guy, one of my
Honorable
favorite
mention.
players to watch. But my number two, Puka Nakua.
Mm.
I love watching Puka Nakua on the field. I'm hoping he can figure everything out off the field. But he is just,
Just needs a
he's,
handler, bruh.
oh, yeah, I know. But every time I watch him, if there's a ball up in the air and it's 50-50, or it's right by the sideline, or it's just going to be a super tough catch, I'm like, you know what? Puka Nakua is going to come down with that football. And then combine that with his yards after catch ability and his size and his route running ability. I just think he's already one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, maybe the best. He has been quarterbacked by Matthew Stafford, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL as well. So it might be interesting to see him on a team with a quarterback who doesn't do as much. But Puka Nakua at my number two.
hey, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
dude.
butt in. I also have Puka Nacua at my number two. So
Ooh,
I
I
do
just
too.
you do too.
Yeah,
I,
dude.
I just
awesome.
I, I just wanted to give him some love. I just want to tell you a crazy statistic. He averages 13.4 yards a catch. Averages. That's
First
insane.
downs
That means every time he touches the ball, not every time, but every time he touches the ball, it's a first
on
down
average is the first
on
down. Yeah.
average,
It's not
right?
like he's just a deep threat where you're throwing it down the field. It's like he gets a short pass and he goes 10, 15 yards.
Yep.
It's just yak, bro.
It's the amount of yards he picks up after catching the ball. And then on top of that, his longest reception is at 80 yards. So, Brandon, you're saying he's it's not that he's a threat deep. He is a threat deep. He's a threat deep and he's a threat short. It's just insane. So, just a phenomenal athlete. I do wish that he could pull it together off the field. But he is an incredible player on an incredible team, and I hope we could see him winning a Super Bowl sometime soon in the next couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think like another one of those like depth chart things. I think he has potential to be number one, except he shares the field with Devontae Adams, who's going to take a lot of yards and a lot of touches away from him. A lot of opportunities for him to have the ball in his hands because Devontae Adams is doing spectacular things as well. So I think he could be number one. But I'm glad y'all had the same thought because I was like, dang, if I put him number two and like the other guys, because I totally see people coming from that he's great, but I'm gonna jump in. Fred Warner is my number one.
Yes.
It's consensus, maybe. I don't know, Nate. What did you say?
I have it between Fred Warner and one other guy, so I'll change mine.
Who is the other guy?
Who's the other guy?
I have literally no idea who it could possibly be.
I have Taysom Hill.
Oh, hey, that's close enough.
Oh,
But so basically, yeah, we have Fred Warner. But I was worried that people would say that y'all would say Puka Nakua because offensive numbers attract more than defensive numbers and defensive impact. But Fred Warner's defensive impact is just so good. I can't believe he hasn't. The only reason he hasn't won Defensive Player of the Year is because Myles Garrett is out here breaking the sack record every season. Like he's for
Mhm.
Fred Warner, and Fred Warner just gets hurt sometimes, but he's
Yeah,
number
his
one in
injuries
my book.
have kind of killed him. It's so fun watching Fred Warner. It just seems like he has complete control of the defense. One of the best, if not the best, coverage linebackers in the league. And then he also reads things so well. I feel like every time I watch the 49ers play, Fred Warner is always the first one there on a screen pass, always the first one there in the gap filling a run, always the first one there in a throw in the middle of the field. Stuff like that. He just knows where the ball is going to be and he can get there.
Yeah, I had Fred Warner at my number one, but I'm gonna change it just so I'm not hopping on the bandwagon. You've already mentioned Taysom Hill, that he is a Swiss Army knife, and I love that term for him because he's played quarterback, he's played tight end, wide receiver, running back, kickoff returner. He has blocked punts. This man can do anything. Like
Yeah.
Multiple punts.
you watch a highlight of him and he is doing every single possible position, gaining yards, getting touchdowns. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he has an interception. I haven't looked that deep, but I would not be surprised if he played safety at some point. He is
I
just
don't
a
think he
phenomenal
does. I'm
player.
not sure.
Right. I know. I'm just being dramatic here. But he plays every single position, tight end, wide receiver, running back. And when he was at BYU, he's famous for the clip of hurdling the guy and then just like kind of body checking the guy as he's going out of bounds. It gives me chills every time I see that clip. I glaze Taysom Hill and I will continue to glaze Taysom Hill. But I do like Fred Warner at number one, but my number one, I'm gonna change it. Give me Taysom Hill.
I think Taysom Hill could be an NFL rule changer eventually because the NFL, you have to have a Pro Bowl appearance to make the Hall of Fame. And Taysom Hill, since he's done so many different things, played so many different positions, he hasn't made a Pro Bowl at one single position just because he's doing so many different things. But just for the way that he's changed the game and the way that he's been able to pretty much play any position, I think the NFL is going to have to change that rule to allow Taysom Hill to enter the Hall of Fame because I think he really deserves it.
Yeah, I think it's only right.
Hot take right there.
Yeah, who knows? That is a pretty hot take. I don't know if the NFL would change the rules for Taysom Hill. Maybe I'm trying to will it into existence, but I would love to see
Happens,
him.
you heard it here first on Hike the Y.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, we have no remembrance of him ever having said that.
All right. So because of Zoom, have 10 minutes remaining, fellas. Do we
We
want to
got
go
locked
to
in.
BYU football hot takes, or should we talk about the summer league?
Let's do hot takes.
Really?
I
No.
I just want to say we can talk about Summer League next week because we haven't seen AJ DeBonsa play
Mm,
yet.
That's fair.
I do want to say on the podcast now, and we can talk about it next week. I've had a change of heart for Darren Peterson. I would like to
This son
formally
of a gun.
apologize to Darren Peterson. Watching him play, I actually questioned why he didn't go number one overall. I'm absolutely bamboozled. So,
So come
I,
back next week
yeah, come
to
back next week, and
hear all about it.
you're gonna hear about my change of heart.
I believe that. We'll get to that next week, though.
Guys,
All right.
in 2 weeks, my opinion changed about Darren Peterson like that. Like so quick. And also in that same 2 weeks,
We know.
my opinion about the World Cup went from I love it to I hate it immediately. In 2 weeks. I wasn't able to share about it on the podcast. I was
Dang.
so mad. I loved the World Cup for about a week and then I hated it. So,
Does it have anything to do with USA losing?
Definition of a
yes.
bandwagon fan right there.
There you go.
Yes. Anyway,
All
sorry.
right. Does anyone have a hot take they want to start off? I can start off if you guys don't.
Let's
So I feel like
we should all do one hot take because we've only got 8 minutes left. So
Do it.
everyone gets one hot take.
Go, Brandon.
Your hottest take.
Okay, I'm gonna go with hot take. If I have time, I might try to throw in one more. Okay, but Here's my hot take. This is the most important year for BYU football in BYU football history. Because I feel like this, let me explain myself. I feel like this is the year where things either go from BYU is a contender in the Big 12 to BYU is a contender in the college football playoff year after year. Just because BYU has NIL money. And I think that's one of the biggest things. They're always going to be able to pay big recruits to come, but they need to get big recruits' interest in coming first. And if BYU this year is able to succeed, make the college football playoff, maybe knock off a couple of teams, win a couple games, and do something, and I think they can. I think this is the best BYU team that they've had in a really long time. Then more and more recruits are going to want to come to BYU. And once that engine kind of starts, I don't think it's going to stop. I think that BYU is the kind of team that keeps momentum going. That's kind of what we've seen in BYU basketball for the last couple of years. And if BYU can have a really good year, they're going to start to go up and hopefully become great. And in 10, 20 years, maybe we'll be like, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan,
BYU.
BYU. Like these are teams that have been good for so long. And I'm really hoping that happens. My worst nightmare is something that happened to Iowa State, where their head coach leaves and literally almost
Roster
every
crumbles.
player leaves the portal, every signee that it has worth. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. That's pretty mean. Most of the good signees like leave, and I really hope that doesn't happen. But I think if BYU can keep that momentum going, even if Kalani Sitake leaves, that they can continue to do that.
I
That's
like it.
true. That's probably true, yeah.
I like it. And we've already kind of seen some recruits choose BYU over big schools like Ole Miss. And I feel like we're going to see more and more of that in the coming years. I'm super excited for this BYU future.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well,
Okay,
sorry, I took like a lot of time on that hot take.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I can go for the next hot take. My hot take has to go with Bear Bachmeier. I'll make sure to keep this quick, but I think Bear Bachmeier is going to jump from being a really good freshman to being a legit Heisman finalist. Like last year, there were a couple of small people saying that he could be in the running for Heisman. He was never shown on ESPN as one of those people who could be a finalist there. But like RG3 mentioned it on air a couple of times. But I think this is the year that Bear Bachmeier is able to break out of his shell, show that he's not just some freshman, and he's going to show that he's not just a Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, but he actually can be a Heisman. I think he goes for 3,500 plus yards or passing yards and 700 plus rushing yards. I also
Oh,
think
wow.
he becomes the face of the Big 12 across the entire nation. I think this is the season he's backed up. He's backed up by two really great receivers and also two great tight ends, and he's with one of the best running back squads in the entire nation. I love LJ Martin, and I can see this entire offense just being run by Bear Bachmeier. So either we're going to see him being in the finalist running for Heisman or a headline going, yo, what's our offensive coordinator doing? We need to get Bear Bachmeier slinging that ball more. And that's what it was last year. That's what we were talking about. But this year, he's going to break out of that and he's going to show what he's really made out of.
I would love to see that. Nice take. Nice take there, honestly.
That
Um,
that is a very hot take. My only concern about that, I just don't really have a lot of faith in this wide receiver corps. So this year, JoJo Phillips is supposed to be the best wide receiver, and from what I've seen so far, he has not impressed me, just to say the
Mm.
least. If he can impress me this year, please do, JoJo. I want to see the best of him. I don't, Kyler Casper, I'm hoping he can fit in the system. Walker Lyons, I'm really hoping he can do something at tight end. So that would be my only concern with Bear Bachmeier, just not being able to throw for that much. Maybe just because BYU has to focus on the run a little bit more, just because their wide receiver corps isn't as good. All right, Connor.
like it.
Sorry.
Real quick, I wanted to say, hot take: BYU's most important conference game will not be against Utah. It will be their first one. It will be against Arizona will be the one that will decide BYU's standings next season. And here's why is because September games, by the time you get November, you have as good as the team is. So if we are as good as we think we are against you, by the time we play Utah, we'll know it. Arizona's a team where at the end of the season, maybe they're not better than we are. Maybe they don't have a better record, but they could beat us if we're not careful because September, you're still trying to figure yourself out. That's our second game of the season, and our first one's Utah Tech. So if there's some, you know, some things that need to be ironed out that they don't quite get to, Arizona is as good a team as anybody else in the Big 12. And I really think that the hype for them is real. And it's a big game, I think, for BYU. And by the time we get to Notre Dame, then we'll kind of know where we sit in the playoff standings. And that could be the biggest game of the season. But the most important conference game in terms of BYU making it back to the Big 12 title game will not be against Utah. It will be beating Arizona and setting the tone for the rest of the conference schedule.
Yeah, I love this take. I completely agree. Um, just because even if BYU loses this game, maybe that can provide some fire for BYU going to the rest of the season because that's already one conference game under your belt that you've lost. And if you lose another one, there is a good chance that it's going to be a lot harder to make it to the Big 12 championship game. And so I totally agree with that. And then also, like BYU was really able to ease their way into Big 12 play last season with a couple of pretty easy non-conference games. It's just not the same this year. So you're right, BYU is going to be tested early.
Luckily, we get that
Yeah.
one at home, so we'll see.
Yeah, I like that take so much, and I wish I had more time to kind of talk about it. But I do love myself a good BYU versus Utah rivalry, and I hope that it's going to be Utah and Arizona are both two massive games because what BYU needs is massive games on their schedule. I think this BYU team can win both of those, hopefully, especially Utah. But if Utah is a contender, I hope that BYU can beat Arizona and beat Utah and not lose a dumb game against a dumb team, whichever team that may be, right? The biggest thing here is if there's a really, really good team like Notre Dame, Arizona, Utah, we need to win those games, and that's how we're going to get some actual, like, what's it called? Recognition across the United States of America.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and BYU's got a
That's the way to
nice
do it.
little 3-game win streak against Utah. Let's keep it going.
Run it up.
Thank you guys for listening today. Can we get a go dogs?
Go
Go
dogs, sick
dogs, sick 'em.
Sick 'em.
Woo, woo, woo.